Hello, how are you all? I'm here today with Helen Bullen, who has written a book called I've Got Your Back. And that's actually a brilliant title because you'll see why when we talk about the book. But the subtitle is The Essential Guide to Marketing Your Therapy Business. So, Helen, tell us about your background. That wasn't meant to be a joke.
My background, good, double one. Should we just keep mentioning body parts whilst we're doing this here?
Why not?
Well, I'm an osteopath by trade, so I've been an osteopath probably for 16, 17 years, and before that I did massage and sports therapy, so come from very much a medical that sort of background, therapy background, and I've also taught, and I also now mentor people how to run their own business as well. So that's sort of my brief history of my background. I've always been very sporty throughout my life as well. So I think that helps with patients, etc. And maybe even helps with my coaching because I'm very much regimented in my training and what I do. I'm the same with the business. I get structure and then I go and put it into action. So very like my sport life as well.
But you've actually progressed from sports to osteopathy and treatment, and now you're actually a business coach, really, and that's where the book comes in, because the book is not about health or sport or osteopathy per se, is it?
No. I mean, I think it sort of came about because I have a big multi-healthcare practice, so I set it up from scratch. I did work for myself before, a room out of a clinic, and then I decided I want to open my own place, and it went really well. And I was managing people, and I made so many mistakes, as you do when you run your own business, but I was quite quick to turn it around, and I did loads of learning. And then people kept saying to me, well, how have you done it? Can you help me? And I had self-employed therapists working for me, and I was like, yeah, I can take on your marketing. Let's do this. And maybe really my motivation was that I had other people that I was marketing the business for. I needed to get clients in for them. I felt quite responsible. And I suddenly decided that I really like business, which surprised me. So I always thought I wanted to look after people, which I do, and I love that. But suddenly there was a passion for business and probably learning. I like learning. So it was like, oh, I do that, or a bit of tech. It would drive me mad, but I would go and work out how to do it. And then, as I said, a bit like my competition, I feel like it's winning when I go, oh, that's worked. I've got 10 new clients through the door. And so the coaching came out of that. And I'm also a teacher. So I've been a teacher for probably, 12, 13 years. And I'm also been an external examiner for osteopathic colleges abroad and stuff like that. And I've even sat on my professional body, governing body for their investigation committee. So my experience was sort of going, well, actually, I probably can really help people. And it just naturally happened. And then I started to think, I'm really enjoying this. I need to make it into a business. So, and that's when really it blossomed, and I started a membership group, and then everybody loved it. And probably no one was more surprised than me and went, oh, it's working, So it's I knew it would work for me, but it's different when you coach other people. And I suppose what's maybe different about me to some coaches, not so much now because it's coming more now, but I always realised there was more to it than a list of marketing methods, because anybody can Google how to market their business. But what wasn't happening was people were actually taking any action doing it. So for me, it was like, well, what do? I'm pretty driven. I know that I'm pretty driven and I do things, but I also know not everybody was like that. So I sort of just went back and came up with sort of my 5 principles that I use, which actually does involve health and fitness. There is a little bit of that and mindset work.
Right.
Before you actually get to the understanding how to do your marketing, you actually need to make sure you know why you want to run your business and you understand what you're doing, and you've got all your self-care in place. Then actually doing the marketing becomes really easy rather than being horrible and something that you avoid doing.
Yes, marketing doesn't always have a good rap, does it?
No, and I think that's what I talk about a lot, is it doesn't have to be sleazy and cheesy, I quite often call it. Actually, it can be quite enjoyable if you just change the connotations and how you do it. You don't have to sell. You just have to be informative, advise, be the go-to expert, and actually people will come to you quite naturally.
So this is what the book's about. And is the book there to position you in this latest role? And are you sort of giving up on the previous roles, the actual hands-on, as it were? Another joke.
You.
I know. Amazing, isn't it?
The thing is, I can't think of any to come back with, which I'm slightly annoyed at.
Don't worry. But no.
I mean, over the last probably 4 or 5 years, my practicing, so actually my physically hands-on with patients is less. I used to treat every day. And now I treat on a Tuesday and a Thursday. I sit on reception some days, and I have a great practice manager, and I love doing that. I don't really want to give that up yet. I'm passionate about it, but I'll probably only treat now 10 patients a week, maybe 12, and I used to treat 30 or 40. So I brought that right back down, because if I'm honest, I probably do love my coaching more. It's hard, isn't it? Because they're both very different jobs. So I can't really say I love it more, but I'm very passionate about the coaching, and I love seeing the results and helping people. So in a way, I'm sort of doing the same job. I help people with their aches and pains, and I also help people with their aches and pains in their business as well now. So yes, in a way, and yes, this book is to position me. I want to do a lot more speaking. I want to be quite like to be sort of New Zealand and Australian, places like that. And I know that it's the next level up for me. So I'm quite well known where I am in my niche, but I want to move it to the next level. I want to be known really as a bit of a calling card and a bit of credentials. And the other thing is, I want to show people that they don't have to do, so many people out there saying you can earn 100,000 in 3 days, come and do my thing. And that isn't what I'm saying. I'm saying it takes some hard work, it takes some time, but this is what you do. And hopefully it comes across as quite refreshing that actually that's the reality of it, but I can help you do it. And that's what I'm quite passionate about doing. Is lots of people graduate as therapists and they have no business training. I think I got an hour, and that was an accountant, and all I can remember is she said, keep all your receipts. She probably said more, Lucy, but all I heard
quite good advice, but yeah,
was keep all your receipts. And I think now in colleges there's an emphasis really on in all education, and I've worked a lot in university education of getting the grades, getting the units you need to do, ticking the boxes. But as to running your business, which most therapists have to do, they don't really choose to be entrepreneurs. That's the difference. They don't choose that. They get it thrown upon them, and they have no idea. They're lulled into thinking they're going to come out and it's all going to happen for them. And then it doesn't. And then people give up. They don't do it. They think it doesn't work. And it's a real shame, because then also, and I'm letting down a whole load of people in the world that could be treated by therapists, but these therapists are giving up or not being able to get out to the people. So yeah, in a way, I want to still help my patients, but maybe by getting other people to be able to treat them, I suppose.
Yes, no, that's great. So when did you think that writing a book would be a good idea? How long have you had this idea in your head?
If I said at school, you'd probably laugh, because my teachers definitely laugh. They definitely laugh. Probably realistic on the coaching, the last 3 years or so, I've thought about it. I knew I wanted to do it. But I know, Lucy, but grammar, I remember first time telling you I couldn't do grammar, and I spelt grammar wrong, I think, when I did it. So it was quite ironic. My mum's an English teacher. She's been a teacher. She has rolled her eyes at me many times. I talk fast. I wave my arms around. But as to spelling and grammar, doesn't, when I wrote my book, all I had to do was take out so. Every other sentence I write, so. I think that put me off a lot, because I thought I wasn't an academic. That I know I can get a degree when I'm in something that I understand. I have an osteopathic degree, but at school I wasn't a clever child. I was sporty, but mainly because when I went to school, I'm in my 50s, when I went to school, everything was done on your spelling. Even your geography lesson was marked on whether you'd spelt right or whatever, and that didn't serve me. So I think that put me off a lot. The ironic thing is I got told at 15 I wasn't clever enough to be a physio, and they sent me to secretarial. Oh. Well, I can't spell. I can type now, though. The great thing is I can touch type and I can do shorthand, and people are always surprised. But really, somebody who can't spell and put grammar together to go to the secretarial, I wasn't brilliant. Let's just say I wasn't brilliant.
So is that really what held you back about writing the book? I think so.
I think so. I just thought, well, I know I can talk it, but who am I? I remember thinking, who am I to think I could write a book? Who am I to think that anybody else would be interested, or that? And also, I think that everybody else doesn't really know this. I think differently now. When I started, I thought everybody knows this. Everybody knows.
I think that's a really common feeling, that people, entrepreneurs particularly, who write their books, who start to write their books, or put off from writing their books, think, well, I've got nothing new to say. I've got nothing original. Yes. It's all been said before. Everybody knows this anyway, so it'll just be boring. And actually, it's so not true. People don't know what you know. If you've had a successful career, a successful business that has worked well, you provide people with, as you say, coaching and a model, a way of working. People don't know it at all. Otherwise you wouldn't have any coaching clients either.
No, exactly. And I think for me, maybe it's because I'd done the coaching first. I suddenly realized actually people didn't know as much as I thought.
Yeah.
And you know, when I teach students, I always say to them, you know, your patients don't understand your language and whatever, keep it simple. And yet I wasn't telling myself that when I was teaching people in the business world. So yeah, no, it's good.
Interesting. So what finally let you say, okay, I'm going to do this anyway?
Well, I tried to do it. So I'd been writing blogs and things and thought actually most of this would come together as a book. So tried to put it together, but I never quite knew the structure. I thought I did, but it was a bit of a, you know, I've got a load of words here, but I don't know what to do with them particularly. And then suddenly Lucy came up on my feed and went, I'm doing a challenge. And I hope I was one of the first in, Lucy. I was like, I'm doing that.
You were.
I was just like, that's what I need. And I think over the years I've learned, I mean, I have a fitness coach, I have a couple of business coaches, and I thought that's what I need. I actually need a coach for the book that is going to hold me accountable and hold my hand with it. Yeah, no, you haven't had to hold my hand totally as I've gone through, but if I needed anything, I can come to do it. And timeline as well. It was timeline for me as well. And I know this isn't the same for all the groups who are doing it. There was a business awards and I thought, might be able to get it in that. I don't know whether it'll get in that, but the timeline was like, I quite like a competition, quite like a deadline that there's a reason for.
Absolutely.
And that's just the way I work. But I think, yeah, probably it was just came at the right time for me.
Yeah.
And as I said to you, I remember telling you I thought I had a book written. And then I suddenly said to you, actually, Lucy, I'm rewriting most of it. Because although I had it, it was easier to rewrite it as I went along.
Yes, I think at the beginning when we started doing the structure, I thought you would probably just, you know, be coasting along with that bit and then you would join in when we kind of got to the writing part and you'd kind of fit it together. But in fact, it didn't, you actually dived into the structure as a kind of new step, didn't you?
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the most informative bits. And I have to admit, I didn't completely stick to my structure I started out with. And I don't know whether that's...
No, that's fine, yeah.
But it was great. And I loved having the cards and the different colours. That works for me. My mindset works like that. And it was okay. I look at that. That looks about right. It was that, you know, did you call it seasoning? I love that. The seasoning that goes into it. I was like, oh, I'll have a bit of seasoning and I'll sprinkle it in there. And it was good. It helped me. And I work, when I coach, I work with Post-it notes because you can move them around. And you doing it with us on index cards was like, well, I don't have to make a final decision yet. I'll put that in there. Yeah. Actually, it needs to get, and I would say my family at one point moved out of one of our lounges because I just had it all over the floor. And then I remember somebody walking in and going, don't bang the door because they'll all fly over the place. So yeah, I probably caused more chaos here than I should have done.
But it does work well. It is a good system, I think.
Really, really good system. And I still have that little box that's sitting there with all the cards in, which I probably haven't looked at for the last month or so, but they're there and I think I'll always keep it.
Yeah, a lovely reminder. Yes, yeah. That's great. So, so then going on through the process, what were the hardest and the best bits for you before you actually? Well, I should imagine finishing was probably one of the highlights.
Yeah, one of the highlights was finishing. For me, I'm really busy, as you know. I've got 2 businesses, so when people say they didn't have time, I was like, you don't have time, geez. But I really enjoyed getting up early in the morning. I'm an early morning person anyway, and I love that time between about 5 and 7 when nobody else is awake. So I would get up about 5, poddle around, and instead of doing my journaling or whatever I'd write in content, I just sat for an hour and wrote. And I just thought, I've just got to give it an hour, whatever comes out. And I had, I've got your book, because I had your book here. And in here, I bought it because I thought I'd show you, because in here, I just scribbled down. These are all my chapters. And then what I did...
Oh, I'm really pleased.
Yeah, I just decided which one I wanted to write about that day. That worked really well for me.
Yes, not necessarily.
Sometimes I couldn't do an order. I'd look at a title and I'd go, my own story, I don't want to write about that today. So I'll get, and something would just click. When I got to the end, it was like, well, you have to go back and write that bit. I had to start saying to myself.
Yeah. Did you end up with a whole load of bits you really didn't want to write?
Not too many, but there was some. It's like, come on, you need to write that now. So, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed most of the process. I can't say I didn't really. I suppose I had a bit of negative feedback from one of my beta readers, and that threw me a bit, although all the others were positive. But do you know what that did? That made me, I haven't told you this, that made me go, this is my book and I am writing it. I'm well up now, but I'm writing it how I want to be. Yeah. It won't be flowery and beautifully written grammatically because that isn't me. but the information's there, and I know I'm going to have help with editing, whatever. But I mean, it's not so awful that it's 3-word sentences. I have got some skills, but it wasn't ever. And I thought, if I do, and I got some suggestions from them, and I thought, if I do that, the book's not mine. It might be better, I don't know, but it's not my book. It's not. So that was good in a way, that I realized, and that's what I would use if I was coaching people. I'd say, well, actually, you need to be you. So I thought, actually, this is the time to step up and be me. This is my book. I'm proud of it. And what did somebody call me today? I'm kindly blunt. That's what I got called in a testimonial. Somebody did a video testimonial. They said, I really like Helen because she's kindly blunt. So I wish that was in the book, actually.
Yes, well, it could be. You could put it in there.
I want a T-shirt printed with I'm kindly blunt.
That's great.
I do think you have to say it carefully or it could come out wrong.
Yes.
So I didn't really find anything difficult. What I really loved was there was a lot of guidance for you. I really enjoyed listening to your teachers because they would set me on the track for where I would be. And I think you're very reassuring that it's okay where we've got to. You know, we were all panicking at certain points, and it was about, it's okay, you've got to there. And for me, we had in this, I loved in your little book that you have a little tally where you can put the words, the amount of words you've done. So words today and the words total. I really like that. Although, look, I've shown you on a blank page there. That was obviously, I had to write the go-to expert and I couldn't write that day. But, you know, this one's better. I'll show you this one. But, you know, I'd written how many words I'd written that day, and it's nice to see them tallying up. And actually, I've ended up with slightly too many words. So
that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And as you know, I should point out that, you know, whether it's a question of punctuation and grammar or too many words or whatever, a professional editor will sort that all out at the end. So there's no need to worry about any of those things. And it will still be your voice, absolutely, but it will just be tidied up and polished. So it'll be your best voice.
Yeah, thanks. I need that. But kindly blunt.
But kindly blunt, definitely kindly blunt. Yeah,
I love it. It sums me up so well. I'm going to hold on to that one.
Yes, it is. That's brilliant. Oh well, I'm really glad that the book writing process has been such an enjoyable one for you, and I think your book is going to be fantastic and really useful, both actually for your business, but also for the businesses that you serve and coach. So
yeah.
I'm really happy to have worked with you on that, and I look forward to seeing I've Got Your Back out in print very soon.
Me too. Excited.
Yes. Thank you, Helen. Thanks for talking today. Okay.
Pleasure.